I've had quite an interesting career pathway, I think. I started out being a teacher, and I think a lot of the skills and knowledge that you build as a teacher are really important in sport. Things like planning skills, things like communication skills, dealing with people and so on. So I started out as a teacher, did 17 years of adult education in a range of locations, Middle East and Kuwait and Japan, and adult education in Australia. But I've always been part of the sports context as a participant in running in particular, and always on volunteer committees. So this is really about a transition, if you like. They say there's 3 big transitions in your life, and I think I made my transition in 1996 and moved into a paid sports role, and then I guess got involved in Badminton Australia after the Olympic Games in Sydney, and then from there moved into the International Federation. I think practical experience is very, very important in sport. Sport is a practical thing, it's a doing thing. But good sports managers are able to plan, you know, especially if you're around event management in sport. There's always a timeline leading up to the event and then the delivery of the event. And you only get one shot of doing it right. So I think good planning skills, good communication skills. You need to be able to communicate internally with your staff, your volunteers, the people who work around your events, and externally to people, to the general public, to the stakeholders, to sponsors and so on. So I think good communication skills are really important in the job. I think teamwork is really important. You can't do this by yourself. You've got to work with people, and with that, good people skills. I think maybe they're the 4 elements that I think are important in sports sports management. I think sports management is a really exciting area, particularly if you love sport, if you like watching sport and participating in sport. Then being an administrator or a manager in sport, it's really exciting because there's something really passionate about sport. It's a competition. There's a winner and a loser, and you don't know that at the beginning of a match or a game or a race. And so there's 2 sides to it. One is the participants, the players, which are central to our business, but then there's also the fan base around that. How can you communicate? How can you create stars? How can you engage the fans in the field of play, in the performance that's on the court or on the track? So it's a very exciting area, I think. It's about performance. It's about, communicating a message about the sport to your fan base and how you interact with them. I think a great leader is able, first of all, to communicate effectively and communicate to people at all kinds of levels. In sport, you meet a whole range of people from a whole range of different parts of society. So a very good communicator is first thing. I think a great leader has got to be a people person, being able to relate to people, and of course that's linked to communication, but good interpersonal skills, ability to get on with people at whatever level. So you have to deal with volunteers in sport a lot. And then you're dealing with your staff, and then there's the technical people and so on. So being able to relate to people, being able to communicate with people, very, very important in leadership. And I think leading by example is really important, you know. Participating in sport, if you are a sports leader, being a volunteer in sport sometimes helps with, identifying with the needs of the people who are very much part of your sport and your system. So I guess leading by example and being in there and understanding, the needs of those people who work in your system.